Hi, this is Jackie, and I am going to tell you about a hack I thought of today because I'm preparing for a card class and I have to have 48 of these. And pardon the noise in my background, my Cricut is working, prepping for my class, but I was trying to figure out a way to get these to my people so they wouldn't lose any letters or anything like that, and outside of putting them into a little tiny sandwich bag or whatever, a baggie that takes time and is cumbersome. So I did decide to go get my press and seal, which you see I have a box right here, and it's the best stuff for crafting. It's pretty awesome. And so I'm using it kind of like a transfer tape for vinyl, but this is cardstock. I did not use vinyl. And what I'm doing, as you can see, I cut a full 12 by 12 sheet. I got 20 thinking of views on here. I have to do 48, so there's quite a few. Now here's my tip. Put it on with the sticky side down, of course, you know, and push it all on. And when you first start, of course, you have to take off the black background, you know, for the words. But just one thing I want to warn you about when you do that, this was pretty good. I'm using my Cricut Maker 3 and it does pretty good cutting. But right here I lost a T and I did save it. It's right here, so I'll put it on there in a little bit. After I lift this off, you'll see what I'm talking about, okay? So what I'm doing is I press this all down, and this is the way I've thought of is to make it the easiest and best way for me to get these off the paper. I've already cut a line here, and I'm going to do one right here. So what I'm doing is putting a square around each one of these boxes. So I'm using a ruler, blocks of the thinking of you. I'm using a ruler, and I'm using an X-Acto knife. This one, I love this one. I don't remember where I got it, but I really like it. So I'm holding my ruler down and I'm just lightly doing this. It doesn't take a lot of pressure to get through the press and seal. And oops, I just went crooked a little bit. That's okay. And I'm doing it horizontally and vertically. So I'm going to do this one horizontal. I'm not going to take the time to do this whole thing on here because that's going to take a lot of time. And I'm one of those people that like to get to the point of what I'm teaching. And so I put this on to this, and then what I'm using to get it off is I'm using my all-time favorite Cricut tool. It's their old school spatula. If you can find these at yard sales, pick them up. They're real flexible on the top. The new ones that Cricut makes, they work, but they're not as flexible. They're really stiff, and they're not as thin. Not much difference, but a little enough. So what I've discovered is, I'm going to go from this angle, so I'm going to kind of do this upside down. But the reason being is these are the finest parts of the thinking of you is this T and this right here. And so I've discovered after doing 40 of these is that starting from this side, lifting that up, and you want to get your spatula underneath the letter. You can see how it's in there. And I'm pushing that letter or the shape or whatever. I'm going to get into the T here. And I'm going to press that up into it. See how I've got the T is on top of the spatula right there. Press the press and seal on top of that. And then you can just lift up. And once you get these started right here, you can see how they just lift up. Well, now I have to do that again for the Y, for the U. So I'm lifting that up right there. And see how, I mean, all of it, you're just going to have to help it lift just a little bit. And I found going from this side made it faster and easier. You can see that U is having a trouble, so I'm going to stick it on there again. And there. And now it is all there. And guess what? I didn't use my X-Acto right there because I was saving time. So quickly I'm going to take and do this right up to there so I could show you. Then see how it comes off into one square with the sticky side on the bottom. The letters are stuck right where they need to be when I go to put it on my card. So I've just got a piece of white cardstock right here. I'm going to pretend this is going to be my card. And let's say this is where I want it. So I'm going to press it there to make sure. Before I do that, I want to weed out all of these extra little things. and all my ladies at my class will get to do that. They'll have the pleasure of doing that. There's not that much, so it won't take that much time. Then what you want to do is take a fine-tipped glue. I like to use Nuvo glue. It's my favorite. It's really fine tip, and it works really well. It dries quick. It's pretty awesome glue. So I would fine tip on those, each ones. Then I would take and put it where I want it. Of course, you got to have all these little black dots out of the way because you don't really need them there. They're not going to stick if you didn't put glue on them. So this is where I want it to be on my card. So I'm going to press it on really good. I'm going to leave it there till it dries, probably a minute or so. It won't take that long. Then press it again. Then take your press and seal and just pull back on it. You could see these are even coming off. And if that had the glue under it, that would be sticking, as you can see, okay? So that's an easy way to transfer that on there, which is really good when you have something that has to be in a certain spot. So you can use this press and seal to go on there and put it where you want it. Like if you had a big word like Stephanie, okay, then you could get Stephanie on your Cricut, cut it out on the mat, then press the seal on there where it needs to go. And that way you just lift it up, glue it on, and put it on. You're not having to draw a line, figuring out where it goes, and all that kind of stuff. Now, my trick, again, I had to figure out how to make a bunch of these into one area. So I took another piece of press and seal, put it upside down on the table. Let's see, I'm going to move this one out of the way, and I'm going to put this white over here so you can see it better. Put it on here. Okay, so it's upside down. The sticky side is down. As you can see, that's stuck. Then I'm taking these as I peel them off of my mat with all my letters on there. I'm just going to lift this off really quick. You can see that when I go to class and I give these to my people, they're going to have everything they need. So as you take it apart off of your mat, your cutting mat, and then you're putting it onto this upside down, just set it on there and press it on there. And it will stay on there until you're ready to take it off and use it wherever you need if you're doing bulk. It's really handy. So that is my take of this. And I did cut this on my Cricut. I created it on my Cricut as well. I do teach Cricut classes. But anyway, this is my hack for the day. I hope you have happy hacking, just like I did. Have a wonderful day. Give me a call if you have any questions.